All right. Here we are on 4/14, April 14th, Saturday, right after the Syria bombings. A lot of people panicking, a lot of people giving unnecessary alarm, in my opinion. And I'm here to tell you RELAX. Those of you who are Packer fans, you will know exactly what I'm talking when Aaron Rodgers had the Green Bay Packers had a very bad start to their season. And he was being interviewed, and everybody thought the season was over, and he basically said RELAX. And sure enough, they started reeling off win after win after win right into the playoffs, right? So the point being is that we have truthers panicking and having zero faith in the anointed Trump, which is just so silly to me. Guys, we need to relax. We need to understand that this man is in control. This man is anointed. This man has the backing of the Lord Almighty himself, as well as an incredible, stable genius, right? Good to see you, Sandy. So relax, guys, relax. This was actually, when we dig into it, is going to be seen as the biggest Syria deep state fail. That's right. This is a Syria deep state fail. Let's look at the facts. I cannot believe Alex Jones freaking out like he is. I admire his work, and then even Zach, one of the, just panicking as if Trump is like under mind control, they said in one video. Just silly stuff. He is completely under control. RELAX. Let's show why. This was a Syria deep state fail. His 4D chess moves are still working. Let me show you why. Okay, let's dig into Cueanon a little bit. So as we look at this, I have the Cueanon right here in a separate tab. And here we are. We saw this on the 11th, Twitter down, injection goods, some exciting stuff there I'm not going to have time to cover, but it looks like they've done some injections, and some of this trending is on words like QAnon are way up, things like MAGA is way up, because it's all being suppressed by Twitter. They're shadow banning, suppressing everything, et cetera, et cetera. But let's talk a little bit about Syria. Everybody panicking. You shouldn't be doing that. Melissa, Barbara, good to see you. I support Trump. On the surface, it looks like a deep state is getting him to go with the wrong way with Syria. I hope that is not it. Nope, it's not it at all. And I'll tell you why. This was really a brilliant move by Trump. At worst, okay, I mean, at best is what I believe. At worst, he completely did not even do anything close to what the deep state wanted. The deep state wants what? The deep state wants an invasion. The deep state wants war. The deep state showed 17 targets they wanted to take out. So let's look at QAnon, analyze this together, look at some of these great sources on Reddit and Vote that I tell you guys about, and you'll see that this was a deep state fail. Okay, so there's a 2 or 3 posts here. On the 13th, he says, trust POTUS, Sparrow Red, missiles only, Intel good Q. Okay, so people are saying, Intel good? No, this was a false flag, and they're freaking out, and they're panicking, and Trump's under control. He's flipped. No, come on, guys. Let's get real. Let's study this together with reason. Use your own mind. Stop panicking, right? This is an example of forced and getting lost in the tree, looking at the tree versus understanding the forest, right? They talk about that a lot. The forest is the deep state's about ready to go down. That's the forest. The tree is, oh my goodness, is not doing exactly what he said in the past, and it appears that the deep state has him trying to go start a war. That is a complete tree when you see what happened, right? Their deep state knows they're gone. The forest is the deep state is over with. They're about ready to 25,000 sealed indictments. Impeachment papers being put up on Rosenstein. You'll see all this as I walk through this. I'm still in my thunder. But the point is we got to look at the facts here, not panic based on what the deep state media wants you to think. Don't be fooled by Mockingbird media just because they're all excited about this and McCain's excited about this. Don't be fooled by them. And I'm just shocked that we got InfoWars and Zach actually panicking here when Trump's completely under control. So again, I'm going to dig into Sparrow Red in a second. There's a new movie coming out by Jennifer Lawrence. It's Red Sparrow, but this is also can mean several other things I'm going to talk to you about. But let's dig into this next one here. This is the latest one he just posted here a bit ago, and it basically shows a picture, if you blow this up right here, of a post back on April 8th that basically said, Night 4, remember this post? Night 4, increase in chatter, authorization B192, Sparrow Red, prevent at all costs, good, Castle Online Q. And then there's this, as far as the Syria attacks, there was some communication here by McKinsey. It says 79 missiles destroyed the Basra Research Development Center. This was set in Syria CW program by years. So basically set them back by years, right? The chemical weapons programs for years. 22 missiles hit the Him Shinzar chemical weapons storage site. All coalition forces were involved in kinetic strikes. 2, look at this. This is the key. 2 USAB B-1 launcher bombers launched 19 missiles. All right, that's the key one. We'll finish it up here. We have not seen any military response from actors with Syria since the strikes. We positioned defensive counter-air assets around Syria, and these are still active. So look at that. Look at this. This was today. Now, and Q actually tells us, and this is Anonymous put this post. He says possible link between Q post and McKinsey statement about missiles in Syria. And you go back. That's today, which is what? The 14th, right? We go back and we look at is it the 6th? April 6th? Look at this. 2 B-1 bombers, 19 missiles. 2 B-1 bombers, 19 missiles. Could that be the link? Well, Q says it is. Look what Q says. Expand your thinking, the date versus actual. So he knew they wanted to take out this facility when he announced the removing of the troops from Syria. So there's deep state problems in Syria. Such think of McCain, think of all the people he was meeting. In fact, the research center looks like it was where McCain was meeting with the criminal elements in Syria, the so-called moderate rebels. They could have taken out sites Syria wanted taken out for them. Now, so who knows? Now that's just speculation, and what we're still doing research. But I want to let you know that do not panic, relax. Right? This is trust the plan. Iran is next. April showers. Do you believe in coincidences? That is an amazing thing. Now let's look at some more facts here, guys. Here's another thing that just looked at various posts. This was from Reddit.com. You go in, you subscribe to Great Awakening, and you'll see some great things here. And here's a brilliant anon that basically analyzes these tweets. And I apologize, I've got so much to analyze here, guys. I'm not going to be able to see the comments until later, so give me some time. But let's analyze this real quickly, because this was a deep state fail in Syria. Relax, we're under control, okay? Trust the plan. Here we go. POTUS never telegraphs his moves. Think logically. Why did POTUS announce his intention to pull out of Syria? Moves and countermoves. These people are stupid. This is what he said on April 8th, right? They are trying to start a war. So he knows they're trying to start a war. He's telling us right here. He told you, he told us, told me on the 8th. Deflection. They're trying to deflect from what? The forest. We're taking down the whole deep state. It's a glorious time. It's the Second American Revolution. It's crazy times. But here we are with this tree where they're trying to distract us all and get us started into a war, right? And this tree is something that we can't get stuck on, and people abandoning Trump because they didn't like one activity he did, when in essence this was part of his 4D chess play. Okay, so let's be careful. Moves and counter moves. These people are stupid. So the move was they wanted to take out these buildings. In my opinion, this is what's happening. They announced a pullout, so that created the false attack probably of the Syrian of the chemical weapons, the false flag, right? Okay, now there's other possibilities. I'll talk through those. I'm just giving you my theory right now based on some smart anons here. They are trying to start a war. Deflection. We just pull out announcement. Chemical attack. Coincidence? So he just shows us right here that this chemical attack was basically them trying to get us in a war, and they tried to deflect public interest shift, and then these people are sick. Syria, hold until conference. Military assets on the ground locked out of GZ. Israel strike harmed ability to prove events. Clown report must be verified because the clowns are saying there was a Syrian attack, right? Or there was some type of chemical attack. Troop unwind to still occur. Have faith, trust POTUS. Now there's a bunch of analysis over here I'm going to read in a second. Trust POTUS, Sparrow Red, missiles only, intel good, Q. Now that we just read that one. So here's these pulled together. This is Cueanon basically, and here's what he thinks happened. And I tend to agree with most of this, right? POTUS said he would not telegraph military engagement, so why announce this one? To allow time for the narrative. What if the U.S. acted? Russia and Syria would retaliate. Moves and countermoves. POTUS wants to test the capability of the deep state in Syria. Remember, the Syria has deep state, including the McCain moderate rebels, some of the leaders there. They're still there, some of them, right? And see where they are hiding, especially some of these actors. Announcing a withdrawal gives them an opportunity to out their location. So deep state is trying to start a war to deflect the storm. We know that after POTUS announces a pullout of forces, there's a chemical attack. Then regarding Syria, holding response until all teams are coordinated. Military assets have been locked out of ground zero. That was the GZ, ground zero. And we need a way to route the deep state out. And we're talking Syria's deep state. Russia and Syria want ISIS and deep state out of the affairs. I meant deep state that's located in Syria right now. Maybe some of us as well. Some of our clowns there. Russia and Syria want ISIS and deep state out of their affairs, as does the U.S. So the three work together. I think there's back channels going on here, and it's games and deflection when Russia's talking mean and Saudi Arabia. Syria, and then we go in and take out the Syria areas they don't want, giving the illusion that the deep state would get their war. The U.S. attacks actual facilities for chemical weapons manufacturing and distributions, but they are not Assad facilities. Look at that. They are not Assad. They may not even need to be Assad. One of them was the one that there's a picture of McCain going into that very building they attacked, the research facility. With the confirmation that it was missiles only from the U.S., any ground activity is Russian and Syrian soldiers who are now able to attack the newly opted deep state players under the cover of the airstrike. QSNS, hashtag Cueanon. So guys, that's what I think happened. I think something very similar to that. Here's some more details. Here's, again, calm before the storm on vote. That other one might have been vote too. I apologize. That might have been on vote. I think it was on both of them. Both voat.co, and you go to Calm Before the Storm, or go to reddit.com, and you can go to Great Awakening. Here's a post that talks about Red Sparrow. Red Sparrow, and so there's several theories on this. The one they talked about this being the movie with Jennifer, that basically became her first mission was to become a CIA, to take down some CIA agents, right? But since it's Sparrow Red, not Red Sparrow, we really think it really is more special reconnaissance. And I'll show you more of that in a second as we dig into it. And so there's really good analysis here. You'll see that this was probably talking about something totally different. And I think I have it down here. There might have been a deeper look at this. That's a trailer. Here's this. Look at this. So this is the April 13th where he says, trust POTUS, Sparrow Red, missiles only, intel good. What could have it been meaning? This Cueanon is saying it could have been TSMI, Top Secret Military Intelligence, SR, Special Reconnaissance. That's the second time I've seen that. Special Reconnaissance, intel good. Basically, the intel was good about what buildings they needed to knock out that were the deep state in Syria, potentially. So this is a different way of looking at it versus panicking that we're going into war. We're actually at back channels. We're working with Russia, working with Syria to take out the deep state in all countries, right? Just like we're doing in others. Here's another one that I showed you that one, which is the last post that we have from Q. A lot more news I want to get to. Let me go to this other browser real quick, and then we'll go over some other cool things on Syria, etc. Right? Here's another Cueanon saying something very similar, and I think this was Reddit.com as well. Here we go. For those that are, and then Calm Before the Storm. For those that are confused, we hit 3 chemical weapons sites that the rebels utilized. So here's a second Cueanon saying the same thing. The very rebels that are supported by various deep state actors in the U.S. Think McCain and abroad. Trump and Putin are play acting. Think about that. Trump and Putin are play acting. I think it's exactly what happened. Just like I think Mueller and Trump are play acting. And Trump and Sessions are play acting as they get the 25,000 sealed indictments, the huge deep state takedown. This is one little battle, one little tree. Don't freak out over it. Relax. Here we go. And we are helping him clean up Russia. Russia has a lot of very powerful and rich oligarchs. Putin does what he can to deal with them, but he is already branded a dictator. So it is. I'm just trying to get my background back up. Sorry. Gosh darn it. Just give me 1 second and I'll be right back at it. There we go. So here we go. So it's much easier for the U.S. to just levy a bunch of sanctions on Russia. Those sanctions only end up helping Putin and Russia overall by helping to drain their swamp, Russia's swamp. Similar operations are happening in coordination with Z in China as well. So I believe that's true. What he just set up there, now he's doing an or and give another one that other people believe. And I respect your opinions, guys, but I really think that we're completely under control, and this is a brilliant sting operation, right? But anyway, here's the or part of this. You can believe that Trump, who has made a point to repeatedly state since he was campaigning that we will not telegraph our military plans, suddenly decides to ditch that policy and announce our intention to withdraw from Syria. Then after the chemical weapons attack, he makes a bunch of statements about our intentions to retaliate, right? No, he already knew about this. We just saw that. Back in the 6th, he said B-2 bombers, B-1 bombers were going to actually drop 19 missiles, right? And he just happens to pardon Scooter Libby on the day that the Syria strikes happen. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. Scooter Libby's a big deal. I think Dr. Corsi's saying this is the beginning of the Trump counterattack. And the Scooter Libby's part of that, right? He's basically pardoned, and he's basically talking a link to familiarize yourself with the fraudulent special counsel investigation of Scooter Libby and why he is pardoning today is meant to send a message about Syria. And there's basically a big article here on the Hill, which I think it's right here. The link is right here. And it's after having the rebuild there. But basically, this is the Hill article based from 2015, basically showing that this poor guy, was pretty much Scooter Libby, was pardonably, politically prosecuted. He was part of Cheney's cabinet and basically was taken down pretty much in a political play, just like almost Flynn and the other actions that they're taking that are just not correct. And so this was kind of a message. I think it was a message to say, hey dudes, I'm going to pardon those who you're politically attacking. Right, it goes back all the way to 215 to talk about that. So that's, and then of course the conviction had a devastating effect on Libby's career, but it also subtracted a wise and seasoned voice from the government. The counterinsurgency strategy that won the war in Iraq in 2007-2008 might have occurred years earlier had Libby's voice not been permanently muted. So anyway, Libby's back in, and we'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. But I wanted to stick with the Syria subject for a second. Here's another on, again, Great Awakening on Reddit. Trump takes Syria from cabal, destroys their secret weapons cache, and teams up with others to distribute new defense contracts in the region. Just a few thoughts. So again, here's another. This is the third add-on with these opinions that it's all under control, right? POTUS needed a reason to get troops in Syria to rid the deep state. He needed support to destroy the McCain-Smiles chemical weapon stash. He warned them to avoid as many casualties as possible before the strike. Now, what can the deep state do? Their ass is blowing, and Syria doesn't have to take the blame. Plus, they get a ton of protection moving forward. What do you think? So a lot of discussion on that. Go look at that for yourself for more discussion. Here's another add-on talking about, wait a second, he says here, what was one of the main targets U.S. hit in downtown Damascus? The facility of Science Physics Department, the building that is directly east of the spiderweb. That's where McCain met with these moderate rebels. So that could have been completely still under control of the Syria deep state. Here's another one that just is kind of the summary of this. If you summarize the whole Syria thing, this is kind of the way I want you guys to feel, the way I feel. Facts. Grand juries have been impaneled and Saturday across the country in Arkansas for the Clinton Foundation. 24,000 sealed indictments in Pacer.gov. Military tribunals paneled and I'm not sure what he means by sat there. Since December per military attorney and general. Gitmo buildup with padded cells. Back page taken down. Rosenstein problems. Libertards are about to go get roundhoused. Enjoy the show. Get your popcorn before they run out. Believe. If you don't, what else are you going to do? Failure and giving up is not an option. So this is the way I feel, guys. And so I'll come back to some of your comments here before I get into a little bit more news and why I think this counteract is going to be amazing. Then we'll do a quick Mark Taylor prophecy, which I think gives similar type information here. Don't give up here. Don't panic. Let's relax and look at the truth. So I'm going to go back. There's a lot. It's scrolling. Sandy saying amen about something. What is Gizi for ground zero? Yes. Trust this is Work in Progress USA. Trust in Trump, people. We are blessed not to have our HRC. Yeah, we'd be invading. We'd have wars, all kinds of things, and they'd be all in their underground bunkers safe, right? Eventually, when the bombs actually came. You can rewatch it if you missed some. Did anybody watch the SGT report on YouTube about HRC? I haven't seen that yet. Nope, missed that one. Watch it. Oh, this is gold. Awesome. God is so good. Yes. So good stuff here. Love the fact that they could shove your head. Okay. Jeffrey, be careful there. So exactly what I've been saying about Putin and Trump for a year now, working together. Exactly, Mike H. Not sure I did what it said. So I guess some comments are being removed here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but anyway, I don't have time to look through all that because I want to dig through now some more news. And this is, if you listen to Jerome Corsi yesterday in his podcast, or not his podcast, but in his live broadcast on YouTube, he actually talked about this is the big counterattack, right? And part of it is this Libby stuff, basically, which I just showed you, that Libby trial shows dangers of political prosecutions, right? And really how this guy back in 2015 was taken out. And a scapegoat for the Iraq War, Judith Miller says, pardon of Scooter Libby, long overdue. So here's another article that I'll put down below, really kind of confirming this. And I think this was a huge message, at least Corsi believes as well. There's a message that I'm going to pardon people that are politically taken out when it's lying to the FBI because they were really because they wouldn't turn evidence against Cheney in this case, right? And so this is a message that, hey, you can do that all you want. It's not going to help. I'm going to pardon people that you take out, such as Flynn, etc. Report articles of impeachment drafted in the House for Rod Rosenstein. Look at this, guys. Just last night, articles of impeachment drafted in the House for Rod Rosenstein. So this is now, the heat is on for him, right? Another piece of news that I thought was kind of interesting here is that it's using significant memory. So let's take it. It's a Zero Hedge article that basically says Trump overrules Sessions' promises to protect states' pot legalization rights. So that's making a lot of people happy. But guys, if you just really look at this counteract, what's happening, it's a great story of just momentum to take out the deep state. Again, that's the force, is taking out the deep state. And don't let this deep state attempt to try to start a war in Syria keep you from understanding how controlled this is. Just the fact that they knew there was going to be 19 bombs from a B-1 bomber, the two B-1 bombers, on April 6th or 8th, when the attack happened yesterday on the 13th, right, shows you that Trump has a plan, working with military intelligence and working with the NSA together to take down this deep state. Say they're withdrawing, understand what buildings they want to take out, then take those 3 buildings out. When the deep state and neocons want 17 targets taken out, including Russian targets. How many Russian targets? 0. How many true Syrian targets that were going to be badly needed to take out ISIS? 0. Right? So so let's relax and actually enjoy the show here that's going to be going on. And here's a couple other things I'll show you. If I look at this, I'm going to attach this. This will be really useful. I think these are abbreviations. It just shows all the abbreviations that Q uses. I thought this would be real useful for you guys, so I will actually include this in the link below. But I thought it was really awesome to show UBL, Osama bin Laden, and what he was using all these things for. The WWG1WGA, where we go one, where we go all, as an example, right? And just a lot of other great, like the +++ being the House of Saud, 187 being murder for the police code, etc. So I'll include that. It'll be useful for you guys, I think. And again, I think the more you look at some of this stuff, the more you're gonna enjoy. And then lastly, I'm gonna go to Mark Taylor here in a second. But I wanted to kind of summarize this section real quick. This is a deep state fail. They wanted war. They want invasion. They want us to take out Russian targets. They want us to really hurt Syria. Instead, we may have been taking out the very facilities that had chemical weapons that were maybe not even under the control of Assad, right? Or at least buildings that were being used to continually fight, just like our deep state's fighting Trump. There's deep state there fighting Assad, right? So those that are panicking, I mean, I just cannot believe how Alex Jones is panicked. I'm sorry. I respect the guy. He does great work. But I'm not sure if he's part of the show or he really believes that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And Zach panicking like that? That's just crazy to me. Maybe he's part of the show as well. But we are not going to World War. And there's maybe little battles and limited wars that happen here. But we are under control and taking out the deep state. It's going to be a fun time, guys. Okay, let's get into a little bit of Mark Taylor. That kind of, I think this is the one that was done on February 24th, 2016. It says, "Do not fear America." Again, Mark Taylor is the person who basically feels that he is a prophet of God. He will not call himself a prophet. He's getting God's words that he's writing down. He was sick for 10 years. He actually put a prophecy together in 2011 saying Trump would be president. Very detailed prophecy. Many of those pieces have come true. Everything I've tested on so far has come true. It's amazing to me. So here's what he wrote on February 24th, 2016, and it's about 6 paragraphs here. But I think this will be comforting as well for those of you who want to mix the spiritual aspect with this, with Cueanon, and see how this comes together and why I'm so confident. Another reason why I'm so confident that Trump is completely in control. So this says, "The Spirit of God says, why do I sense fear in my people about the future of America? Have I not said that? I have heard your cries and will heal your land." That was in earlier prophecies. He's going to heal our land so that we can be the launching point to harvest and heal other lands. It's going to be a beautiful thing. He's going to raise up this army of God to do that. I've talked about it before. This is cool stuff. Let's continue reading. "Stand firm. Do not falter. Put on the full armor of God. Rake the enemy over the coals, for the end time battle is on for my 1 billion souls." The Spirit of God says, "Do not fear that my servant, Justice Scalia, has been taken. For some are crying out, 'Why have I forsaken?'" Obviously, this was the plan by the deep state, probably murdering 187 Scalia, right? And trying to get control of the Supreme Court. So what's God saying he's going to do about it? "For I will show myself strong to prove that the so-called wise are wrong. For some will say that this is a miracle, for I am just getting started. This is not even close to the pinnacle for what I'm going to do with my America. For do not my people have eyes to see and ears to hear the 2 signs I gave when they carried my servant's body up the steps of the courthouse where the rest he was laid." Read the signs that were for all to see and understand the words of this prophecy. Now, I've heard Mark Taylor interviewed on this. I have not actually watched a funeral of Justice Scalia, but I guess there was a couple things there happened. One was a train, right? The Trump train is what he interpreted it as. So we'll have to go back and get more details of that. But that was kind of what he feels, Mark Taylor feels, has already been fulfilled in that. when Scalia was killed. The Spirit of God says 5, that's right, 5 Supreme Court justices will be appointed by my new president, my anointed. I will choose 5 through my anointed to keep those alive. Now, would that be crazy? 5 Supreme Court justices? Wow, just think about that. I guess 2 or 3, he's prophesying we're going to get caught in a scandal. And I listened to an interview of him the other day, and he talked about the 25,000 sealed indictments. Some of them might be for Supreme Court justices, right? That they've been doing illegal backhanded stuff as well. So that's going to be really interesting to see if some of this comes to fruition. Let's continue reading. I will stack the court with those that I choose to send a clear message to the enemy that you lose. This is the miracle that I will perform so that my court will be reformed. And he continues, the Spirit of God says, the cries that I have heard from the womb have reached my eyes and ears like a sonic boom. The 5 I appoint and the reform that shall take place, the great I am shall take on this case. For it is my will and my way for all those that have prayed that my court shall overturn Roe versus Wade. The Spirit of God says, America, get ready, for I am choosing from the top of the cream. For I am putting together America's dream team from the president and his administration to judges and Congress to ease Americans' frustrations. So this would be amazing. I mean, because Trump's put a ton of appellate court judges in, and really is changing the history of our country back to people that will actually interpret the Constitution versus legislating from the bench. Beautiful things are starting to happen in our courts. And if we get 5 Supreme Court justices, we've already got 1, which is obviously Gorsuch, right? Because this was written back before that happened. So we already have 1. So basically 4 more, that would be an amazing, amazing turn of events. Here's the last paragraph. The Spirit of God says, rise up, my army, and get in the fight. For this is a generation that's taking flight. This is a generation of warriors that those of old wanted to see, and the enemy will have no choice but to flee. Rise up, stomp the enemy's head with bliss. Send the enemy back to hell and into the abyss. This is a generation of warriors that all of hell has feared to face and see. But I am, and all of heaven is cheering you on with glee. Your supreme commander, God. Again, Mark Taylor wrote this on February 24th, 2016. Over a year ago. I guess over 2 years ago, right? We're in 2018, obviously. But guys, that's pretty. I'm going to look at 2 Chronicles 7:14. I hear you, Sandy. I think I've looked that up before. Homeland Security, NSA, and Samsung. Tony's talking about. Messi retracted. Interesting. Joanne Goodwin. Sorry. Supposed to be SGT report on YouTube, and Pettivore truly more evil than I thought. So yeah, I'll have to go look at that Hillary Clinton SGT report. None of this matters. Trump bought the false flag and started a war against Syria and Russia. Wrong, Sean. You're actually wrong. POTUS lied. Absolutely wrong, Sean. You haven't listened to anything I've said. This was a brilliant man. They even said all the way back to the 6th or 8th, he actually talked about the number of bombs that the 2B1s were going to drop. So he planned this all along, right? There's 0 Russian targets, no war, 0 high-value Syrian targets. This is not going to start a war. Trust the plan. Trump's under control. That's why I said, relax, guys, relax. That's what's happening here. This is a Syria deep state fail. Tell you, mark my words. Hey, if you might have to go say I told you so if I'm wrong, but I think the more research I do, everything I believed in my heart before I read any of the Reddit and before I read any of the vote stuff was that he is complete control. And just doing 3 targets when they wanted 17, they wanted invasion, they wanted ground forces, they want overthrowing Assad, they want a war. They didn't get any of that. What they got was 3 buildings taken out, probably not even under complete control by Assad. Guys, this is brilliant. He knows what he's doing. Trust the plan. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you next time.